This week in your Volume 2 student activity book, you are going to be doing pages 319 and 320, so I wanted to go over those with you. Okay, the first page is going to be parallel lines. What a parallel line means, it's a pair, so there's two lines, and the thing about parallel lines is they are always going to stay the exact same distance apart. Even if they continue to go on and on and on, those lines will never get closer together or farther apart. So I always think of parallel lines when I'm looking at the word parallel. You see those two L's right next to each other? That's a perfect example of parallel lines. Those two L's, they're going to stay the same distance apart no matter how far we extend them in either direction. So below we have our parallel lines, and you can see they can go like horizontal, diagonal, vertical. The rule is this pair of lines, they're never going to change the distance that they are apart. So if you look over here, like these have two lines, but clearly if I extended them and they kept going, eventually they're going to cross or they're going to intersect. So these are examples of lines that are not parallel lines. Now, what do you think it means for two lines to be parallel? I already told you. So you just have to write that down. So you're going to draw and label a pair of parallel lines down here in this box below. And you can make it like the where they have the rays going in both sides, or you can make them where they have the endpoints. It's up to you. So you can do that. When they say label it, like you can label like line A and line B, but I'm not really worried about you labeling it. And then for number 3, it says draw and label a figure with one pair of parallel line segments. So think of like a shape that would have parallel lines. So think of, well, a circle's out. Does a triangle have parallel lines? Does a square? Does a rectangle? Does a trapezoid? So think about what shape you could draw that you could look at two lines, and if you extend them, they would be the same distance apart no matter how long they go. Your next page is about perpendicular lines. Now on the previous page, I told you exactly what parallel lines were. All I want to point out about perpendicular lines is, remember what we learned about angles? And we learned specifically about right angles. And I want you to notice, do you see any of those right angles with perpendicular lines? And then what do you notice about the examples that aren't perpendicular lines? Like, how are they different? Because I want to really truly get what you think it means for lines to be perpendicular. And then you're going to draw your own pair of perpendicular lines. You don't have to worry about labeling it. And then draw and label a figure with one pair of perpendicular line segments. They can have more than one. So think about your shapes again. Circle, triangle, square, trapezoid, rectangle. Do any of those have perpendicular lines? All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.